Today we are talking about Rotala Rotundifolia or Rotala Indica, a super easy aquarium plant that I think everyone should have in their planted tanks. So before we get started, I am Calum or Calum's Fish Tanks, and I post planted tank content every Tuesday and Thursday, so if you're not already subscribed, please consider it. So right here you can see Rotala Rotundifolia or Rotala Indica. It is a super easy stem plant and it goes by both of the names. I'm not sure why, but people sometimes call it Indica and sometimes call it Rotundifolia, but it is the same plant. So it is a super easy, very fast growing stem plant that would work perfect in your background for all sizes of planted tanks. I have it here in my 40 breeder and you can see it's growing the full 18 inches to the top and it's super beautiful. So like I have mentioned, it is a super easy plant to grow. You can grow it in low light, no fertilization, all these conditions that a beginner could replicate. In highlight, it gets super nice pink colors, as you can see here, and it's just a great centerpiece plant for any level of aquarist and any tank. And before I continue on and get started with the care requirements, I have all the equipment listed down below in affiliate links on what I am using to grow the plants in this tank. So with Rotala, you want to keep it in a tank, a basic planted tank with a pH from 7.5 to 5.5 and a temperature between, I would say, 70 and 85 degrees. So Rotala Rotundifolia does not need highlight, but it does get its best colors when grown under highlight, and that's when you're really going to get those pinks and those reds starting to show in it. So Rotala Rotundifolia does like its iron, and that will help it get these brighter colors, and it is a faster growing plant, so do have a not high fish load, but don't just put it in a shrimp tank and don't do any fertilization, or have a nutrient rich substrate so it does have the nutrients it needs to keep growing. If Rotala does not get these nutrients, it will start to die back because of deficiencies it has, because it is a rather fast growing plant. So just make sure you have lots of nutrients in your tank and lots of nitrates and phosphates for this plant to grow. You can see my cat over in the corner sniffing the tank. He's helping me with this video. If you test your water and there isn't a lot of phosphates and nitrates, I would recommend dosing before adding this plant, because like all stem plants, it's going to grow quick and it's going to need a lot of nutrients to stay alive. And what I mean by a lot of nutrients, I mean between 10 and 30 parts per million of nitrates and between 1 and 0.1 parts per million of phosphates. That's a good area to shoot around if you're a beginner. It's super easy to get Rotala Rotundifolia to get a nice bush, and you can get a lot of propagation with this plant because it grows so quick. Whenever you trim off one of the tops of this plant, at least 2 or 1 new sprouts will shoot off from that same area, and this allows this plant to get super bushy. So that one stem, it could have like 8 heads coming off of it if you trim your plants frequently when they get to the top of the water, and this just makes it so you can get that nice large bush of Rotala. Mine was recently trimmed, so it's not really filled in like crazy right now, but it usually is. With those trimmings, you can just take them and replant them straight into the substrate, and they'll create a new plant. They'll root in, and then you're going to have a whole new plant. I've done a video in the past about trimming and preparing stem plants to be planted to have the best success, so I'll put a link to that right up in the top corner. So guys, that about does it for caring for Rotala Rotundifolia. If you guys don't already have this plant, I'd recommend going and picking it up at your local fish store because it is a great plant and it's one of those great beginner reddish plants that can give you some color to your planted tank. But anyways guys, this was Calum's Fish Tanks. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Peace.